Mhm. Hi, everyone. This is Kathleen Fitzgerald with Alana Kyle in Dismantling Morgellons. This is episode 7, and I'm just very excited to bring more information that Alana has, a wealth of information. Do you know she's got a portfolio with, I don't know, hundreds of protocols and different ways to treat, you know, the Morgellons, the symptoms, like Alana was trying to explain to me. So before we begin, welcome to Dismantling Morgellons. And again, none of this is medical advice. You are not to take this and replace it with anything that your doctor's saying. We're not asking you to go against any of your doctor's orders or counsels. So this is just information that we are sharing with each other, and we're recording it and giving it to the public for viewing and for recreational purposes only. If you have an emergency, please dial 911 and call emergency and have somebody come and get you. Thank you. All right, so it's the day before Thanksgiving, and we're going to get started. Welcome, everybody. We're so excited to be here. Alana, okay, so episode 7. And, first of all, please go to A.K. Cuthbertson on YouTube. That's A.K. Cuthbertson, and see the rest of the series 1 through 5 right now, soon 6, and then this one will be uploaded soon. So you're not that far behind, but there's going to be a lot more. So you'll want to go there, and we'll have the link, obviously, to the YouTube channel. Anyway, let's see, anything else? You'll be able to see there on the YouTube some shorts that are being made and downloaded there, different types of, medical Morgellons phenomena. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, so Alana Kyle is the founder and creator of EMF Blocking Hats by Alana. You can find her on Facebook, EMF Blocking Hats by Alana, Alana. And she is a Morgellons survivor and researcher, and I met her through a network that's been pretty phenomenal. And we're going to have a special guest come on the show. We're not going to tell you who this person is right now. We're going to keep that a secret because it's so, thrilling to keep it, a secret, right? Especially when we haven't really asked that person if they want to come on. But it will happen. Anyway, so Alana, I don't want to take up any more time. I'm going to hand it over to you to instill your knowledge. We're going to be talking about trying to dismantle the sores and the lesions, because you have been like instrumental in helping me to understand what's going on, with our bodies and to help people, because I see all sorts of conditions and different things out there as a healthcare, person. So anyway, thank you for your help, and the hats are amazing.
So happy. So I wanted to say thank you, everybody who's watching. I know there's a lot of fans out there that people have been around for a long time, and I really appreciate your support and appreciate you following us. This is all for you. We're doing this out of a labor of love. Basically, just want to share all the things that we've learned and the things we know, and how to be able to kind of handle your Morgellons issue kind of by yourself, not, for yourself, without too much outside interference, because as we all know, it's not that easy to either get diagnosed properly or to even get the help you need. And so this is here about ways to help yourself that are cheap, effective, and sort of helping you maintain your dignity by taking charge of your own body, taking responsibility for your own body, and being able to attack this horrible, horrible, horrible plague that we're all facing. um, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I figured out that I had Morgellons, because that's kind of the starting point for a lot of people, because they might have a mystery illness for decades, not exactly understanding what is affecting them, because this disease can come up in so many different ways. And it might look different for each person. So, you know, some people might have brain fog, some people might be fatigued, some people might be in excruciating pain for no reason. They didn't have an injury, they didn't have a surgery or anything, and all of a sudden they're in this excruciating pain. Or they might have some kind of psoriasis, eczema, shingles, that kind of thing, sort of skin disease that is impossible to treat. I mean, just all kinds of various things that people come up with. There was another one that I'm thinking of, and that is where people have a lot of mouth issues, and that's a big one. And that was one for me too. I had massive mouth problems, and that can be really excruciating. It can cause a lot of problems with eating, and it can cause problems, just absolute horrible pain. And so it's different things. So, you know, diagnosing this disease is kind of next to impossible. And I think it's amazing that there are so many people in our groups that have figured it out. And I don't know how they did. You know, how did you come to the realization? I mean, because this is sort of like a fringe disease. Like, there's no doctors out there that will recognize this. I mean, some, very few, mostly like naturopaths probably, but most doctors don't recognize this. So, you know, you're never going to get a diagnosis. So it's kind of up to you to determine that this is actually something you're dealing with. So, you know, it didn't take me very long to figure it out, because I had so many weird things coming out of my body. And so I was like, this can't be natural. This can't be normal. I especially like these fluids, these weird bubbly fluids. And this is in the beginning, in 2013, you know, I had all of these fibers coming out, all various colors, and very weird objects, and like hard objects, like rocks, kind of, little black rocks, and all of these bizarre little things. Eventually, as I got more into it, then I found even more bizarre things. And it takes a little bit of diligence to find these objects, because they are so small. And it's almost something like kind of like for me, an obsession, because I would never have seen some of these things if I hadn't been looking with a microscope, because they are so small that it could just really go past your awareness. But a lot of times they're really shiny. So some of these objects that come out are like, they have a lot of like color and shine. And so it kind of looks like jewelry almost. So that can catch your eye. But, and you know, so the lights, pay attention to lights, pay attention. And also like metallic particles. That's kind of easier to find as well, because they stick to your tools. Like if you're working with the tweezers or something, because this stuff is metallic. So that's another way to find it. But so variety of microscopes that I work with, so that I always have something, you know, nearby. So I want to show you something. So when I'm doing my work on my body, so I always have this around, and this is the coolest little tool. And it's like this microscope with a tweezer attached. This is what it is, really.
Oh, wow.
You can get these on Amazon. And
That's cool.
this is the best tool in the world for a Morgellons sufferer. I can't live without this tool. But it's not very highly magnified, but just enough that you can see some of the little fibers if they're coming out of your skin, and you can see them and at the same time pick them up. You can pick them up off of your skin if you need to. So that's very
Yeah,
helpful.
exactly.
It's
I
a little
remember,
sharp.
is it?
Go
I
ahead.
remember Deborah Tavares saying to get a magnifying thing that goes on your camera, and you can just like magnify it and then take pictures on your phone to see the wires. And I did that. I have one, but I never
Mhm.
saw the wires. I mean, and so it was really hard for
Oh,
me
and
to,
yeah, I know it's like you have to be really like patient and diligent to see the little things. But I mean, if that's not your thing, don't worry about it. You don't have to do this, but this is just how I kind of pick them off sometimes one by one. Like
oh
that's
no,
kind of
I'm
like
not saying to
I
do
do.
that,
Yeah.
what Deborah Tavares said. I like your thing, works probably even better, but I'm just saying that, for people out there, they'll be like, well, I've never seen wires. According to Harold Couts, we're all infected with
Yeah.
this nanotechnology.
But it looks like
And
other things, so you don't really notice it.
right, keep going now.
Anyway, so I use these things so I can really see, the stuff. But like for example, you'll bring like you'll go, okay, there's this fiber, and you'll show it to somebody, and they'll go, oh, it's fibers in your clothes. I mean, that's like everyone's like, well, there's stuff all over the place, and it looks weird, but whatever, right? Oh no, my internet connection. Oh, I hope it's okay. Let me know.
Freezing up just a little bit, but
Let me know if I
yeah,
pause. All right. But so then I have this one, and this one's actually a lot more strong. It's 60 times, I think. So you can see a lot more detail, and that's very helpful. So you find something weird and you look at it, and you go, oh, that's more nanotech, and it can be very interesting.
tell people what that was and how, I mean,
Oh,
not where to
it's a
find it, just
little jeweler's loop. It's like $8 on Amazon. It's a
give
little
the name
loop.
brand on it at all.
No,
So
they're easy to find and really easy to use. They do have a light on them that goes away really fast. So, but so okay, so I'm talking about the equipment. So like I've got my setup, I've got a magnifying mirror that's 10 times so I can see up close on my face when I'm working on my face. And then I have a really bright light so that I can actually see stuff. And I have a table where I keep all my like lotions and my stuff and my tools. And then of course, I have Kleenex. Now, some people think, don't use anything cotton because that's GMO. Well, yeah. And stuff inside of these products. So the same stuff is inside your Kleenex, is inside your Q-tips. So that's kind of a bummer, but I still really rely on a lot of this stuff to help me like remove the stuff from my face.
tips are
Um,
good.
I love Q-tips. Oh my God.
And just read that witch hazel's really super good. So,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
okay, well, just throw some tips in there. Witch hazel's good.
Yeah, it's like kind of like alcohol. And so like, so I'll sit down to work on an area. So we talked about this before that sometimes, these areas, they all look kind of different. So like you'll see like a raised area, a swollen area, red, bumpy. There might be a sore there that's bleeding. There might be, or not, maybe no sores, but it's just
Like
sort
a
of really
pimple or
like
something.
it could be a pimple that's always usually the start of a sore for me, this little tiny pimple that's filled with fluid. So what I'll do is I'll find that, and the area will be sore, it'll be sort of sore to the touch, and I'll immediately pop that thing, whatever it is, pop it, get rid of that initial gooey stuff. That's gonna, if it spreads, then that'll create more
It's called
problems. Like,
lancing the lesion.
yeah, just that
A
very initial.
lancet.
And then afterwards, I like press on it and get all the stuff out that I can possibly press out with my fingertips. Press it
Great.
out, get all of that goo that you can get out, because it'll start oozing hydrogel. It'll start, and then it also profusely.
Yeah, kind of like a lot. Like all of a sudden it'll be just like whoosh, and you'd be like, oh,
Like
it's
sort of like,
liquidy.
yeah,
What is that? Like it'd be really extra. That's the hydrogel. It's like fake serum, fake whatever, the
It's the
kind of the
hydrogel, and the
stuff that
hydrogel is the bioweapon, and the hydrogel is it's the thing that's growing like a fungus, and it'll just keep growing if you don't like remove it. So you really need to. So this fluid that comes out, it's not natural at all, and there's kind of like these reserves on your skin. So even though you've got like this little tiny thing that you're working on, it's almost like this
bigger
underneath it.
underneath. Right.
It's way bigger than you would realize. So then I'll start working with the products that I use, and I use sulfur ointment, which is incredible for melting hydrogel. And that's the acne version. So I don't have the brand, but it's sulfur ointment, the acne, it's like 10%, I think they say. And that's a really good, powerful thing to use everywhere, anywhere, very safe. Sulfur is one of the things that your body needs to detox. We have to use it all the time. It's one of the most important things to use internally and externally. But anyway, so I put that on and I let it sit for a little bit, and then I put Calogel on, and then I rub the two together. And then I'm kind of liberal with this stuff. I don't have like any, I putting more on. I just put on as much as I need. And then I put some DMSO on it. And you can let it sit for a few minutes and let it do its job. And then you rub in circles. And the more you do it, the more stuff will come out. Don't be concerned if nothing comes out at first. You're like, oh, nothing's coming out. It takes at least 20 minutes for this to kick in. At least 20 minutes. The longer you do it, the more will come out. So you could be working on it for hours if you wanted to.
Yeah, I have a theory, because it takes a little while for the stuff to sink in to the
Right.
hydrogel, for the hydrogel to loosen up, and for it to start getting in there, and then the DMSO is driving it in, and it's starting to get underneath the protective layer of the fake stuff,
Exactly.
down in, and start loosening it up. Yeah.
And
because,
it will start eventually. It's like a volcano. Eventually it'll just start pouring out. The stuff will start pouring out, and you'll feel it kind of with your fingertips. The stuff is sort of like hard little beads, like little plastic beads. There's different names that we've come up with for these. I call them plastic beads.
Plastic dust that I don't know, that turns it kind of turns into little beads or something.
Yeah, they can be hard or they can be a little squishy, but they're, depending on how hard they are, because as they come out into the air, they get harder. But there's just like masses of these things, these little beads. This is what makes up most of these sores. I'm telling you, and I think it's really a combination of white nanotubes and hydrogel mixed together. And that's what makes these tiny little beads. And they're sort of like little soldiers, all kind of like in line. You can see them sometimes, like this line of them, like sort of packed in really tightly together. And so you're going to work that out, and eventually you might end up with a hole. That actually happens. When you get a lot of stuff out of it, there'll be like a hole in your face or wherever. But that's okay. It's gonna heal. I've had hundreds and hundreds of these things heal. So
yeah, like my experience is it's just that, underneath it, some nice new healed soft skin is there.
I mean, my face, look at my face now. It doesn't look that bad, right? I mean, I can see some scars, but they're hidden. But like I had this all over my face, guys. I mean, huge,
so don't be discouraged.
Don't be discouraged. Yeah. And I mean, so the other stuff that comes out, are colored fibers, fiber balls with different colors. There's like black pieces, like black goo, and sometimes the liquid goo. Then there's like these crystal things, hexagon crystals, metal pieces, like there's just like plastic pieces. There's so many weird things that will come out of this. And a lot of times these sores are round for some weird reason. They like to take on a circular thing. I have no idea. Maybe because the hydrogel starts going in a circle and like creating like an opening that doesn't close. And that's why it's so hard to heal, because that you have to peel that rim off.
Yeah,
And
put something
it
on
will
it to
harden.
kill it. Wait a little
Mhm.
bit for it to come up out through the skin, then pull it off.
You
In
pull it off
my
like a
opinion,
Band-Aid. Yeah, and it like rips off sort
sometimes
of
it
like a,
says it's feel good, but after it's off, it's like, whoa, you feel like, oh my gosh, I just pulled something off that was like clutched onto me or that was tracking me or something. I mean, you feel some sort of feeling. It's,
oh yeah, for sure.
so
I mean, when you're
yeah.
doing it, it almost is kind of, ooh, it's kind of like addictive, actually. The
Well,
feeling is
yeah, and they
addictive.
can be really, really fleshy. And if that happens, then we have remedies. Like, I'll throw this in real fast. That's when you take the alfalfa and you pack it, and you just with coconut oil, and you just pack it on there because it's gonna be so sore because you just pulled some stuff out of it, and then just put a
Yeah.
bandage on it and go to bed. Just go to bed. And don't, when it gets all like, whoa, I can't handle that, you've done a good job. I mean, that's how I feel about when I've gotten to that position. And there's
Yeah,
been some
we
stuff.
gotta take it, we gotta take this, and we gotta do it lovingly. It's not like we're attacking ourselves, we're attacking the thing, you know.
AI, you're
Yeah, we're attacking
attacking the
and they do not
system.
like it. It'll start
Yeah.
to look worse before it looks better, actually. But
Okay,
I've
so
had,
sores are circular. Let's
yeah, the source are
not get
circular, and they can be deep. They can be really deep, like holes. I have a picture of that so you can see what I mean.
like craters.
Yeah, like craters. It's really terrible.
And then the
Like
stuff will come out. Yeah,
that's what it looks
wow.
like after you've cleared a lot of stuff, after you've cleared some of the hydrogel. They look really deep, they look really bad. So people might think that you're hurting yourself, which is kind of wrong. It's wrong. You're not hurting yourself. You're handling this. So if as much as possible, try to do this without people watching you, without people looking, and just do it in your own private time. Like I used to do it in the middle of the night. I had kids here, I had my husband, I didn't have a lot of privacy, so I would do it in the middle of the night, which is
Yeah,
not necessarily a good thing, but that's all I could do at that point. But
my experience is when you're dismantling some sort of system, which is a lesion, um, it takes dedication and time. And most people won't understand. They'll just be like, stop picking at that, or don't mess with that so much. And when
they
you're
get
rubbing
freaked out.
it and you can feel the stuff coming out, and there's something happening because you're getting chills, and it's just like so the best thing ever. And oh my God, those ladies were right. Oh my God, or whatever. I'm so happy I'm doing this, right? Just even when you're in a shower and you got borax, whatever, you're gonna feel it coming out. You're gonna feel that fresh skin coming back. You're gonna feel the hydrogel and the graphene oxide just like you massage it towards the middle, and you'll get to it. I mean, we've been there, and this what Alana is telling you is working. It's gonna work for
I don't have any
yeah.
sores now, so I'm really proud of that. Very proud of
I
that.
got off track there, but yeah,
Yeah.
it takes dedication to kind of keep them clean, lesions clean and medicated and packed and changed, and because you're working against AI regrowth systems that are getting smarter and smarter all the time, and using any kind of prosthetics, any kind of apparatus that you may have. The artificial system, as is adapting the nanotechnology, which kind of manifests as lesions with Morgellons, it's going to be there and it's going to show symptoms, but you're going to have to like stop the Wi-Fi, break off the electrical connections, and then all the stuff that she's talking about is going to come out, And then she's going to keep talking about how to take care of that. So keep going. Just more clarification. Sorry.
Oh, so much
All
to
right.
talk about with
Oh,
this,
I
but
know. Okay.
it, it can be really daunting to do this, especially if you've got a lot of these lesions. I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, even just a tiny little area can take a long time to work. And you might have to like prioritize because like I used to have one, I might have some on my leg, and then at the same time I have them on my face, and I have one in my ear, and I have all of them on my hands. And it was really a lot at first. So that's why we're going to do like a comprehensive program. I mean, I want to talk about like the entire program, but this is just one piece of it, just the surface level sores that we get. And if you don't have sores, you can still get the stuff out. I mean, this stuff will come out of your skin without any openings, without any cuts or openings or at all. It will come out like a lot of it will come in big stuff. And it's like, how's it coming out? I don't know.
I know I've heard
It's
true story. This lady pulled a fly out of her eye. True story. So, but also,
yeah.
sometimes it can just feel like it's a sliver and you want to pick at it, and it's like there's something underneath there. I noticed that you'll just want to keep going until the whole thing's removed, and it just takes time.
Yeah, so yeah, just prioritize, like, I mean, for me, my face was pretty damn important. I didn't want to have big stuff on my face, especially on my nose, or my upper lip. I had a really big so it's like it just really want to work on your face. I mean, that's so critical for me anyway, it was. And I the only time I ever went to a doctor about any of this stuff was before I knew about Morgellons. I had a horrible case of eczema on my hands, and it actually wasn't eczema. It was just this. It was all Morgellons. And I went to the doctor so many times. I spent so much money on products and begging her to please help me heal this. And she said, there's no cure. So it's like, you'll get all of these bullshit diagnoses, there's no cure. You're just going to have to suffer with this, just pain control, whatever, whatever. I mean, I didn't know. I was like, okay, I guess that's my life. But, my hands were in agony for 20 years, agony. Just could not.
That's
And
horrendous.
I was raising kids, and I was gardening, and I was cooking, and I was cleaning, and I was dealing with my
You had
business.
rash on your legs and stuff, on your
Uh,
hands, and
it was all on my hands originally, but I had pain. I had joint pain in my legs, which was debilitating. So I had other issues, but it didn't. The rash was only on my hands, but it was so bad that it looked like my hands were like elephant hands, like there were all of these protrusions and stuff, and like cuts and open skin. It was just horrendous. And that went on for 20 years while I was raising kids and changing diapers and all this junk. And I had to be in that pain while I was trying to live my life. And I was starting a sewing business. So I had to live like that. And now I don't have any problem with my hands because it's all Morgellons. So, I mean, there's a lot of terrible things going on. People are not getting healed, and they could be, or they're not getting the information to be able to heal this. So, and I figured all this out kind of just by myself. I mean, I did get a lot of help from people online. I got some ideas, but when it came to actually doing these treatments that I came up with, I did that by trial and error only. I mean, I had to go out and find products, buy them, try them, thousands of things, try them until I came up with this. So it took a long, long time to get the answer of what would actually melt the hydrogel. You got to melt the hydrogel first, because that is what's keeping all of it in place. And that stuff it's tough as nails. It's tough as super glue. Think about super glue. Have you ever had super glue stuck to you?
well, I almost had to probably, I don't know, I would call it, this is probably too much information, but a plastic, thing that exited out and went down into the sewer. I can't even say it.
Plastic. Yeah.
A plastic turd.
Okay, there you go.
And there you go. Yeah, and it was all looked like hydrogel to me. It was just shaled, and it had been collecting in my, my gut, and it took me about 10 days to fast. So I think, you've got to really just kind of play it by ear. I mean, I don't know. We're not given a medical advice, but a lot of times you're going to want to go and get a certain type of medicine, and they're not going to know how to treat it because they're being told that's not what this is. You have Morgellons out, that's psych ward. That's how it used to be. Or those are sores, or it's OCD, There's
But you're
always
doing it
like
to
a
yourself.
projection.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so you belly up and pull your panties up and decide, I'm gonna try this out and see, if maybe I should, maybe get a borax scrub or something too,
Yeah, well,
But
you got to start somewhere, right? You got to just do one step at a time because there's so many layers.
but you were
It's not just,
talking, the last part was to prioritize where you're treating yourself because it can be overwhelming, right? I mean,
yes,
some people are going to be listening to this, and by the time they get this, they'll have maybe a rash or something all over their body, or
yeah,
be really sick,
yeah,
and have found out, oh, I've got Morgellons. I do have a friend I personally know. She was diagnosed with Morgellons from her personal doctor, went all the way to the Mayo Clinic, and then was said, we can't see you, you're on the red list. We don't know what that means still. Okay, so I just have to
oh,
say that. So they don't
dangerous.
know that the term Morgellons is associated with the mainstream medical, you know, cabal medicine, I guess. They don't know how to treat this stuff really, because they're just going to give you steroid creams or something like that, and that I find just feeds it to me.
Antibiotics, whatever, steroid creams,
Yeah,
and
and
also SSRIs. They use that to
say it again, what?
SSRI, antidepressant medicine,
Oh, right.
psychotic
Yeah.
medicine.
Yeah, and so really just like medicating to keep you subdued so that it can continue to collect and get in there and set up a structure so that it can start receiving information and having your system send out information. So,
Absolutely. That's what this is. Yeah. Because we talked
right.
about hydrogel in the previous episodes. I mean, I can kind of go over it quickly. And basically, it's a man-made item made by DARPA. And it is a biomedical, and they're using it for a lot of different things, but the biomedical thing is huge because they added this uh, element, which is the quantum dots. They have different names for quantum dots, but that's kind of what we're using now for our purposes.
For right
There's
now.
semiconductive nanocrystals that they added to this aqueous polymer, base, and they use it for magnetic resonance imaging. So and it's also for sensors, for biosensors. So they're being able to read out all of your body information.
Well, the government, the Biden administration just gave, I think, passed something, and they're going to give a lot of money on the biosecurity aspect of this, because all this that they want to do is, for your safety, biosecurity. But I don't know. I don't think so.
They always sell things as, oh, this is going to be so great. We're going to have so much. Basically, just take everything they say and flip it up. Doing, it's basically all nefarious. I don't believe any of this is for our good. I mean, they would say that this stuff, that's hydrogel with the quantum dots, is created for cancer treatments. They're saying this like, oh, we're going to cure all these things. We're going to cure your brain illness. We're going to create, your whatever Parkinson's, we're going to cure your this or that. And all of this stuff does is it just kills and maims you. I could tell you, I haven't even gone into the torture that I've felt through all this, like all of the torture and all the pain and all of the ruining of my life. I mean, basically, I became a shell of myself. I became nothing. I became just a ghost in my own life, and I really want to say, I want to tell people that, you can recover from this. It's not the end of the world, and you can deal with this. You just have to know what you're dealing with. That's why we're talking about all this. You have to understand what it is.
Just really send you spinning out into the universe. Okay, 4 minutes left. So
Oh my gosh.
we're
Well, we're going
doing
to
really,
continue
really
this.
good. We're doing good.
Well, we're going to continue in the next session. So don't forget to keep watching. But basically, we wanted to talk about how these sores appear and then how you can treat them. It's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks quickly, but it's worth it. And usually those sores won't appear again in that place.
I want to talk about DMSO.
Can we do that in the next session? Because it's going to be pretty long on that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah, all definitely. Right. So let's see. We had some questions there. Yeah, oh yeah, just briefly. Some people are asking, is Morgellons contagious?
I don't want to use the word contagious. Surface, it's on your ceiling, it's on your walls, it's everywhere you go, it's in the stores. You can find it in every store, everywhere, on every product, on outside in your garden. You can find this stuff everywhere. So it's just everywhere. So that, yeah. And it can affect you, and it will, and it has. It's affecting people. It's just, everybody looks a little different, like I said. So,
I had a crazy experience. I intuitively pick up something where I tried or put on a jacket, and when I got home, I had like these things that were on me.
Yep.
And they dug in pretty fast, like these things, these sensors or whatever, and then they just like sent something down into the skin, and it became a sore, and I was like, and I had to scratch it out, and whew.
I got a story like that too. I guess we'll save it for another time.
So it can get inside us and come out, or it can get on the skin and make sores that way too.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely. And it's
horrible. So is it contagious? I mean, if somebody has Morgellons, can you get Morgellons from them?
Person and their state that they're in, and what kind of immune system they have, what kind of skin they have, what kind of situation they're in. It's kind of different from person to person. Okay, I can't hear you now. Bummer. Oh.
Okay, what?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, well, 1 minute and 20 seconds. So let's end that. I think we've done really well. This was episode 7. Thank you for listening to all this. Thanks. And, as always, your knowledge and all of your research is just so greatly appreciated by all of us. We're all learning so much from you, Alana, how to take care of ourselves. Anyway, that's going to be it. Everyone take care, and we'll see you in episode 8. Dismantling Morgellons. Love you. God bless.
God bless.